Okay, today we're going to talk about something a little bit different. I feel...
Alright.
You gotta push my hand out of the way. I'm trying to get the people involved.
You're covering the phone.
Well, I don't need it right now, and they don't need it either. So, I feel passionately about this. This is very important, in my opinion, to have on your device. I feel like it's one of the most basic things that you should be, as soon as you get a new device, or the first thing, one of the most important things you get on there is this application, in my opinion. And this is before, when I was rooted, and if you want to investigate what that means, I didn't really like this app because it wasn't one of those that, oh, it requires root access. But in my opinion, no matter what, this is above and beyond on, and no matter what Android device you're using, like, tablet, phones, China phones, it doesn't matter, Samsung, rooted, not rooted, whatever. This is one of the best applications, and this developer just doesn't get enough credit for what he's basically given to people, because it is free. Now, this application is called Netguard. What it is let me get to it. It should come standard, in my opinion, on every single phone. But if that's not the case, and that's not the case, I mean, that should be one of the first things you put on your phone. Okay? This the developer really does deserve like an award for this. And what I'm gonna do is I'll pull this app up where you're supposed to get it. Okay, this is the app. Let's see if I can get it like that. But it's like this, lined up. Look at that. What's the problem? Sorry for the smudges. Okay, I have like styluses, but it's difficult to work with. I might upload the original video that we did, but it's difficult to work with, and but this is the app. That's the developer right there, Marcel. This guy is great for what he did with this app. He has other apps as well, like his email application. We've donated to him. Great guy for what he's done. So this is basically a 3-in-1 application. This is how we use it here, how I set everything up. It's firewall, ad blocker, and a DNS changer, modifier, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so here's the thing. What I'm showing you right here is from the app store that we get this version from. Okay, we get it from an application or a website called F-Droid. It's f-droid.org. If I remember correctly. And you can download their app. They are a trusted source. The reason why they have their own thing like that, they've been around for many, many years, is they believe in like that whole like open source sort of thing, and they will tell you like, oh, there's some stuff that's not free about this application, or they charge you or whatever, but their whole deal is like open source kind of stuff. And they don't let any apps on there, I guess, that contain like garbage and stuff like that. But that's the icon, and that's the name, and that's the developer right there. And this is from the F-Droid application. And everything is safe on there for the most part. You're not for the most part. Everything is safe on there, but I shouldn't say everything is safe. It's always safe, stuff like that. Even stuff gets by Google, right, on the Play Store. But the main reason why we get it from here is because here you're allowed to block ads from the F-Droid version. But if you get it from Google, you're not allowed. So if you really want to get everything from Google, that's what you're losing. Okay? But you can do your own research on that, and they are trusted. We've been using it for years. Many, many, many people use it and have used it for years. Okay, so getting down to it. We will probably upload our original video on this, but that's like 2 hours long or something like that, so you might not. And I'm just going to try to fly through this, but I still want to give you as much information as possible. So first up, when you open the app, this is what you open with, this is what you see first, and this is your app list, okay? And these are Wi-Fi and data, okay? You can allow or you can block, /blocked, right? When I start up, I go to the settings, options, that's not the right one, advanced options, and then manage system apps. I make sure that that's on, okay? And here's the thing, you can even block system applications, okay? Even from the system, okay? This is a Samsung phone. And you can block some applications, like for instance, accessibility. Accessibility is built into Android. So that is system right there. That's not like this theme for a keyboard, right? And you can block it from accessing the internet. Now, this one, I don't know why it does need internet access, but right there, it's going to show you. Here, this one, 3-button navigation bar, which is system as well, it tells you right here, has no internet permission. Okay? We go down to accessibility, doesn't say anything about that. Okay? If I go to this keyboard theme, doesn't say anything about that as well. Okay? Now you might wonder, why the hell a keyboard theme needs internet? I don't know. Okay, maybe it's because it's part of the primary application. I don't know, but
they need ads.
Yeah, it's probably ads, stuff like that, or data collection. So this gives you the ability to go through your app list and block, and to believe it or not, you can block almost everything on your phone. Almost everything. Okay? And then you only allow what you really, really need. And for system apps that you might want to leave, and some might be connected, is I'll type it here. You got download manager and downloads, because some apps get their stuff from there. If you're on a browser and you're like, okay, I want to download F-Droid, the app, you're not going to be able to do it unless this is unchecked. If it's free, open, okay, you won't be able to do that. You won't be able to download it. So keep that in mind. So, I almost knocked it down. So those two, and you see they are connected. If I want to block downloads, download manager gets blocked automatically. If I want to unblock it, some apps are connected like that. For instance, Google Play services, the store, Google Play Store, they are, if you uncheck one, you're going to start seeing more than one app be selected. And then also, media storage, and I don't know why it's not on here. That's weird. But if you see media storage or media server, you might want to leave unchecked as well, just so you guys know. So those I always leave unchecked, because if not, sometimes there's an issue. Now you might have different issues on your phone, or you might use it for a differently, and you might say, well, I don't need that kind of stuff. Okay, that's your decision to make. But if you do put an application on there and you see it's having trouble connecting and it's not doing nothing, you're like, it should be connecting, I have internet, stuff like that, check those and make sure they're unchecked and they're allowed internet access. The way we run stuff over here, anything Google, if you cannot uninstall it or disable it, or even if you can disable it, we disable or block internet connectivity on it. We completely block it. So Google Play Store, the Google app, Google search, what's that shit? Google Maps, Google Play services, all that stuff. You're talking the movies, Google Movies or magazines. I don't know what else they have nowadays or whatever it is. I block, disable, uninstall whatever I can on those. But that's if you're not using them, right? If you still use the Google Play Store, which there is an alternative here on F-Droid, it's called Aurora. And you have Aurora Droid, which is kind of like a spin off of the F-Droid app, this app, and it has those type of apps on there as well. But Aurora Store, this guy's great as well. It's like it's almost like having the Google Play Store without like kind of like Google involved in it, but it pulls everything from the Google Play Store. Works well, and it's a great app. You might have issues with it though, with some apps that you're trying to look for. It might not pop up on there. They might think like, I guess it seems like you're from a different country or something like that, so it might not be available. But there you go. Just in case anyone's curious about it. See if I could go back to Netguard. Leave it up there. And I spelled that way wrong. I'm trying to run through it. Whatever. Some apps, I think Facebook used to work like this. If you try to disable it, it might tell you that it gets the internet through downloads. It might tell you that, so they'll say even like it basically tells you even if you block it here, it's still it doesn't get the internet directly here. It's gonna get it from downloads or something like that. So always keep that in mind. Like read through them if you want. You can check some of them and read through, and they might explain, give you more information basically. Okay, so that's one thing that you have control over the apps. The next thing is going to be your log feature, and I believe this is only available for people who pay for it, but I don't know if it's $3, $5, $7, but we donated to them and to this developer Marcel, and we got the full version. So when you go to show log, you can enable this, and this is real time what's going on, what connections are being made on your phone. This is amazing because you can see what your apps are doing, and you can see what's being allowed and what's not. For instance, like this is an app we use, Secret Messenger, and this is nice because it gives you information about where it's connecting to. This one's connecting, this is using Microsoft, I guess, for message delivery. This is Smart Launcher, and that thing is always trying to make connections out. So that one for sure, we block that shit. We don't want that like connecting at all because we don't know why. It's a launcher. It shouldn't need that. Biocoded is getting connected there. You see Olvid is using Amazon. So sorry about that. So it kind of gives you an idea of where they're connecting. And what's nice about this feature is that we all, for the most part, use a browser on our phone. And if I start up a browser here, what's going to happen is you're going to see a bunch of connections start, through the browser. Like we use Vivaldi right now. Sometimes we use Mull or Bromite. Those are some examples. But you can see that they're sending information to Google or to Facebook or to Twitter or something like that. And you can go in there individually and say, you know what, I don't like that. So you can click on it and then you can hit block, individually. And the advantage to that is like, okay, I want my browser to work, but I don't want you connecting and sending this analytics or anything like that to Google, or connecting and communicating with Facebook or whatever. So you can disable those individually. So if it does try to make those connections, you block it. But you can still use the browser overall, unless you're like, well, I want to go to Facebook, and you already blocked it. So there's that. And don't leave this on full time because it will drain the battery a little bit more. But that's really nice. Sometimes you want to go into the apps and, like, let's say your Messenger app or whatever it is, you want to make sure that it's not making any unnecessary connections. You want it to work still, but you don't want it to make any unnecessary connections, analytics, even though that does help the developers sometime, or, whatever. People, choose to do whatever they want. Okay, now, next thing is going into settings, advanced, and we're going to talk about the DNS Modifier Changer and what it is and why. Okay, now the DNS is every time your phone's making these connections or calling, like these websites, you go on, okay, www.ebay.com, right? So how things are set up is that websites need websites, for us, we need names. Okay, a store is eBay, right? So you need that name because there's no way in hell you would be able to memorize everything out there in the language that computers understand and all these things understand. Okay, so if you search ebay.com, that's easy for you to remember. eBay, right? It's like someone's name. Tom, Mary, Susan, whatever the hell that is. But if you're talking like computer lingity, then the computer's like, what the hell is an eBay? It's not going to know that shit. The only way it does is through the DNS server. And the DNS server, it gets that query, that call. Hey, I want to visit eBay. Do you have eBay's address, that actual address? And they're going to look it up and they're going to say, okay, 64.4.253.77. Computer's like, now I know exactly where to go. Boom, that's eBay. And it'll bring it up for you. There's differences, okay? So you know all this, Amazon and eBay, and I hate to give a shout out to Amazon, but, eBay, whatever. But these computers, they need that DNS server with the address, the fucking Rolodex or whatever the hell it is, okay? They need the specifics, the it's like, what was like GPS coordinates or whatever you want to call it, like a street address, right? You can't just say, take me to, Susan's house or something. You're gonna be like, what the hell is that? I don't know who Susan's house is. You need the actual, type in the address until you right? You memorize it in there. You save it. What name? Susan. But it doesn't go by Susan. It goes by, further in. Okay, her address is 29 whatever. So that's what the DNS is. Now, why is this important? Well, if you don't change anything on your computers, your devices, your router at home, if you don't make any changes there, whoever's supplying your internet is like, okay, we'll set that DNS up for you. There's a default that they're going to use, that they're going to direct all the traffic to, like your queries. They're going to say, okay, fine, use this. Now, Comcast, for instance, in our case, they're like, they have like a statement on their website, which I'm just like, bullshit, I'm not going to believe that. And who knows, maybe they were doing it for years and they're not doing it anymore. I don't care. I don't trust you guys. And they get enough of my money. Our money. Whoever's paying for it, money. So, here's the thing. When you're searching Google, when you're searching eBay, Amazon, whatever those popular sites are, Gateway, Pundit, whatever. So, if you're doing these searches, they're actually able to collect that data, okay? They use that data in a way, and they kind of sell it, and it helps it for whatever reason. Whoever's buying it, they use that information, and guess what? They get paid bags of fucking cash for this information. Why else do it, right? So they, not only that, I know a lot of people are going to be like, there's other reasons why they do it. Yes, I know. And if anyone's like, oh, conspiracy, this shit has been talked about so long. And I mean, a long time ago, it was already proven that they did do this shit. So you can say conspiracy. No. That's bullshit right there. It was already, they were caught. But guess what? You know, you have your, head in the sand and shit like that, and you only want to hear what you want to hear. Guess what? You didn't hear about it. You don't know what you're talking about. So, this way, you can tell the phone, you can program this and say, hey, don't use their DNS. Use this DNS, because it's going to set this like a VPN up. And I'm using Quad 9 right now. You can use Cloudflare. You can use whatever. You can even use Google's. I don't care. It's up to you. Whatever you want. But you might trust some more than others, right? Or you might prefer it. You might get better speed. It might block malware. Whatever the hell the case is. But you can set your own up here. And that's up to you, whatever you choose. And it can help you with speed or whatever. They'll say, hey, if you care about that, we respect your privacy. We only keep the logs for like a day or, a month, or, we don't collect them at all, or whatever, the information. So that's up to you. But guess what? You have an option here. And a lot of people are like, oh yeah, set it up to Google. It's much faster. If you care about speed, go right ahead and do whatever the hell you want. So option there. If you don't want to keep giving, your internet service provider more money, your ISP more money, they get enough already, right? So, and you can protect yourself a little more. You might even be able to block ads, malware, speed. There's advantages, like I said, like multiple times. So what you're going to do is you're here in the advanced options, right? And you're going to, first thing, enable filter traffic. Okay, this needs to be enabled. This means disabled and this means enabled, right? The switch. So mine's already enabled. So you're going to enable that. Block domain names, that should also be enabled. It should be automatically, but if it's not, make sure it's enabled. And filter UDP traffic, that should also be enabled at the same time. And then you're going to focus on here. VPN, not VPN IPv4 or IPv6. Your focus is on VPN DNS, VPN DNS, and they have 2 slots. Now on Quad 9, these are the 2 that they provide. These are only IPv4. And there's a lot, especially I believe this developer as well. You can read on some forums that he's available on, I believe XDA. It's a website for like Android stuff, and he's on there and he helps people, he answers. It took me a long time to find this, and he advises just sticking with the IPv4 addresses. So boom, boom, you put them in there, bada boom, bada bing, it's ready to go. Okay, I changed my validate at used to validate the internet connection. I changed that. It might be standard, it might be like Google or something like that, but you could put in any address that you want just to make sure that there's a connection, I guess, to validate it. But yeah, you can use whatever DNS that you want. I will mention that some Android versions, this is Android 9 and up, they have a feature in connections. You go to connections in your settings, right? Settings, connections, and then you're going to have more connection settings, and then you have this option here for VPN, that's connected always on, but never block connections without VPN, because it will just knock everything out. Nothing will work, and he does mention that. Don't do that. But here, private DNS. Now, a lot of people are going to say, oh, this is the best thing to use because it's supposed to be encrypted and all this kind of stuff. No, it doesn't really matter. Some people talk about this and they say, look, even if it's encrypted and they don't know exactly what you're sending out there, the data that they still get data. They still get where it originated from and where it's going, or what the call is, okay? It was called from here, I guess, and like say from your house or whatever the hell it is, this area, right? It was called from here, and it went to like, well, eBay.com. So they don't know what maybe is transmitted there. Like, okay, you know, kitten figurines. They don't know that maybe, but they do know that you know, went to eBay.com. So there's no point to that. But you know, if you want to use that, and I might not be correct here. Some, you know, where I got my information, they might be wrong, right? But fact of the matter is, that's only DNS, and if you use that, you're not going to be able to use Netguard, period. So that sucks. I would rather have Netguard that allows me to block ads and block applications and allow applications, whichever ones I want, modify DNS as well, rather than have just this. So there you go. Make your choice. Okay. Getting back to it. Okay. Now we're going to talk about the host files. And this is like a rush, okay? I'm trying to rush through this, and I know maybe if you guys ever watch my other videos, you're like, yeah, he's talking a little bit faster than normal. So you're going to go to Settings, and we will try to upload in chunks from the original video, in case you're interested in just the DNS portion, or just the ad block portion, or just the application blocking portion, or the log file portion, or the logging portion, whatever. And then we'll upload maybe the full video, the original. But then this one's gonna be like try to like condense it a little bit, I guess. Like, it depends. We'll give you, you know, whatever you want. So now we're moving on to hosts. So in the settings of the app, go to backup, and here's the hosts, and this helps you block ads on your device. You can import a host file. You have your option here, or you can just pop in there an address. People might know of like Adaway. I believe that's on like I believe it's Adaway. It's on like I used to use that on like my rooted Android. It's for rooted phones. But they also have a host's address that you can pop in here, and you know, you could use it on here as well, which is great. But it seems like for Netguard, this might be the default, using Stephen Black's hosts, master hosts. But just in case it's not, I put that there because Stephen Black, it seems like he's already setting like the standard. Like, a lot of people use him and are happy with it, and that's what the default. They go to him, and what he provides, he always keeps it updated. And I'll try to give you an example here. So what's nice is you have the day and the date and the time of when it was last updated. Okay, and then this is the address, and if it is the wrong address, it'll tell you right away, like, that shit ain't gonna work. So we're gonna try to do this now. If I get here and I look at my notifications, Netguard gives you a lot of good information here. Okay, it's enforcing the rules. I'm allowing 199. I'm allowing 199, and I'm blocking 620, and that's because I install a lot of bullshit on the phone, and I just play around with all these apps all the time, and I, you know, uninstall, install a lot of stuff. So, and then here's the hosts. 82,499 hosts addresses are being blocked. So all those that have like ads coming from those addresses, or there's different host files from, especially Stephen Black, gambling sites, social media, even news sites or whatever that you want to block, and you might even be able to make your own, right? So you can block whatever the hell you want, but that's the amount, that's the number that is being blocked. So 82,499. Now let's see what happens if I download, and then it's giving me the little pop-up that it was downloaded. Now I'm gonna go and check to see what happens, to see if anything changed. Now it's 78,617. So it changed, and would have been better if it moved up, but it moved down. in my position right here?
Yeah.
Okay. So it actually went down, but now the date updated July 24th, 2021 at 7:23. That is the current time, and I guess we're not going out today because what the fuck? Okay, so anyway. So those are all addresses that they already have that, okay, don't use those addresses or don't allow those addresses so ads can't come in, right? And I'll see if I give you another example here. Here's a weather application. Okay, usually there's a banner up there, and there's no banner right now, so it's a little bit of an example. Okay, but yeah,
Banner ads.
Yeah, banner ad, but you have your choice. Like I said, you can use AdAway. There's a lot of places where you can find your host file. Okay, so now I showed you this is on your taskbar here, or your notification panel. Netguard does show like enforcing rules, and that's a good thing. And then that key up there, see if I can get in close to it. That key is showing you that you're safe. And Android might give you a notification like all your data, can be like intercepted and viewed and all this kind of stuff. And that's just how Android's set up, and this is how this whole process works. There's no there's nothing malicious going on here. So what else do you need to know about this stuff? Again, number one is don't download it from Google, because you won't be able to block the ads if you care about that, your host file. You won't be able to do that. That's where we go, and this is the application that they have available. It's like a little app store. Nowhere near as many apps as Google, but they're all, for the most part, like they're all like open source, and they're great apps. But they're very simple. These guys are like, they're not huge companies like doing their apps, so, but there's some gems on there, right? This will getting Netguard from F-Droid will allow you to block ads. That's number one. You'll have to go through the motions, like if you're downloading this for the first time. If you do go through your file manager or whatever, you're gonna have to find that package and then click on it and go through the motions. Google's gonna say you can't do that, and you gotta say allow the application to be installed and all that kind of stuff. You can find out online if you just research it, if you do a little searching, and you'll find the information out there. Promise you it's not that difficult. It might seem scary and difficult, but once it's done, and you get the experience, right? Just allow the installation. Keep the app updated. Keep going to F-Droid or wherever and making sure the app stays updated, because he will release updates for it from time to time when he has time to make the changes to it for the better. And when you this is his website, and when you I know, when you get the updates, there might be new features or it might work better. So there you go. So also, as I mentioned before, as we've shown, from time to time, go in here to the settings, go to backup, and hit download host file. Update those host files. Make sure that you're up to date on your the ad block, what addresses need to be blocked or whatever for your ads if you are running the host file. If there's any issues with the connection, another thing to remember, you might see here on Netguard, and it might tell you like 0 allowed or something like that, or for instance, you got to make sure that that's showing like enforcing rules. You got the key up there, and But if you can't get any internet whatsoever, check Netguard. You know, swipe down, see if any are allowed. Or you might have, like I said in the beginning, you might have disabled something that you weren't supposed to, but it's not a huge deal. Just go back, retrace your steps. But if this does show 0 allowed, what you're going to want to do, what I do sometimes, is go into the main screen like this and just swipe down. That'll like refresh it. And then sometimes I also toggle the Netguard on and off. And if you go back and you check in the notification panel, it might show you, okay, you know, 100 blocked or 100 allowed and, you know, 300 blocked or something like that. And that lets you know, like, it you know, try it again. But you could also force stop the application. You go into the app information and you can force stop it and then open it again. And that might also make sure it's enabled. That might also help clear up the problems. But, you know, it could be that you blocked an application that you weren't supposed to block. So that's like, I guess, like 3 and 4, you know, like things that you are supposed to remember. Like I told you, you know, if you block your browser on here, it's not going to work. Or it even might, like if it's going through downloads or something like that. I mean, who knows? But yeah, it's just playing around with these switches here, and that's about it. You're not really gonna screw too much up on your phone. You're not gonna screw anything up on your phone. Worst case scenario, just uninstall it, reinstall it. You know, there's guides out there to help you. Not that many. You know, it seems like he gets a little like, well, I'm not really gonna put so much out there, so much into this, because a lot of people are giving me bad ratings, bad reviews, and stuff like that, and too many people complain and they don't appreciate what these guys are doing. You could probably understand that. So definitely give this a try. I'm hopeful this helps you guys. This is something that should be on all these devices. You don't want these apps communicating and delivering what information, collecting what information. You don't want to be just willy-nilly letting all your data out there. I mean, you're not getting paid for that, for this data collection, right? You're not getting, and I know people might say, well, these apps aren't free. You know, that's how they get paid. Hey, you got to draw a line, and you know, somewhere. You can't just be like, yeah, you can take whatever the hell you want. It doesn't matter. You don't have to tell me anything. You know, there's a way about doing things like this, okay? Google, Comcast, AT&T, whatever the hell. If they're going to collect any information, you have the right. And I know people are going to say, well, just read the 1,500 pages in the terms of service and all that kind of stuff. No, bullshit. Not going to do that. If they're going to do that kind of stuff, like underhand, they're not going to clarify it, condense it, make it simple, stuff like that, then fuck it. They don't have rights to anything. They could kiss my fucking ass. And they're not, you're not getting paid for that shit. They're getting, bags of cash for this information on people. Some of the app developers as well. And guess what? Are you getting a nickel from this shit? Oh, well, no. I get to use their app. Well, kiss my ass. If you want, I'll pay you for the app. And now a lot of people a lot of developers are going the route like, hey, pay us like, $10 a month forever. And it's like, no. The way shit was back in the day, I know people are going to say, shit has changed. Well, guess what? Change the shit back. I pay once, I own the shit like a phone, right? It should be like that. I buy a phone, I own the shit. You don't tell me what I can and cannot put on there or do on there or, use on there. Like Samsung, there's a lot of apps on there that they do whatever the hell they want. I don't want those apps. I don't need them. But Samsung needs them. Why? Who knows why? They're collecting information. But anyway, thanks for watching. I'm hopeful this helps people. And yeah, give it a try. We upload a lot of different videos. So if you did make it to the end, you found it informative. Hopeful you can stick with us, and thanks for everything. God bless.